What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that is new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, let's jump right in the topic of this video. We got breaking news today. The Raiders went ahead and made a move in the secondary group, and that was to release cornerback Jack Jones from the roster. It looks like the Raiders were trying to find a trade partner to move on from Jack Jones. They were unable to do so, so they just decided to part ways. We have officially released them from the roster, and by doing so, the Raiders save approximately $3.4 million in cap salary. And overall, this was an interesting move. I thought Jack Jones from the jump was a player that was definitely on the bubble because he was an Antonio Pierce player. And with us having a new regime in Pete Carroll, John Spytek, he was a player that very well was on the bubble. Wasn't sure if he was going to make it or not. Now, he still has some good traits as a player, so that's why I thought there might have been a chance he still would have been on this roster. But as we saw last season, as a primary starter on the outside, he gave up a lot of plays. A lot of times is a little bit too aggressive, gets beat on double moves. Now, at the same time, though, he is an aggressive player. He can come up with interceptions. He can jump routes. He can get pick sixes, but the Raiders decided to move on from him. And one thing to take into consideration, too, is Jack Jones. He's not really a cornerback that's going to get physical and nasty in the run game. His tackling isn't that great. That might have been a big factor into why they just decided to move on from him. It seems like the theme that I'm getting from this defense under Pete Carroll and under Patrick Graham is they're going after versatile, good athletic players. And most importantly, they're going after players that can hit hard. And Jack Jones doesn't really fit that mold. But by doing so, now the Raiders freed up a little bit of cap space. And, overall, this is an interesting move, too, because this could be an indicator on what we could potentially do in the NFL draft, especially early on in the draft, whether it comes to the first round, second round. I feel like cornerback is definitely a need at this point. I really like what we have in Jacorian Bennett. I don't know if he's a true shutdown cornerback one type of player, but he has shown he's a good starting outside corner. But just in general, you look at this room, Jacorian Bennett, we got some young guys in Decamerion Richardson who realistically, last season he struggled. He didn't look great. Now, hopefully he can continue to develop. Hopefully we could see him improve going into year 2. I'm definitely not going to give up on him just because also Jacorian Bennett looks really good right now. But like exactly a year ago, we were having the same conversations about Jacorian Bennett. He gave up a lot of plays, didn't look great. And you saw how big of a leap he took in year 2. Hopefully that could be the case with the Decamerion Richardson. We got MJ Devonshire, another young late round draft pick. And we also got rid of Nate Hobbs earlier in the offseason, which I thought was a good player. I really liked his contributions at the slot cornerback position. We essentially replaced him with Eric Stokes, who, not gonna lie, I think Nate Hobbs is a better overall player than him. But overall, the way I look at this cornerback group now, I think we definitely have a need for another starting outside cornerback. And that's where things could get interesting for the Raiders in the NFL draft. There are some players they could target in the draft. Now, the biggest rumor has been that the Raiders are high on star running back out of Boise State, Ashton Jeanty, and a lot of people have been speculating that the Raiders are going to take him at 6. I love Jeanty. I would not be mad if we took him at 6. I think he has a chance to be a generational type of running back, but the only thing I'm questioning is whether or not this is a smokescreen at this point, just due to the fact that it just seems like out of nowhere, the hype for Jeanty to the Raiders at 6 just spread like wildfire. And even our general manager, John Spytek, voluntarily brought this up on a radio interview. And he seems like a general manager that's just not going to leak stuff on accident. He's very strategic. He likes to keep his cards close to his chest. So for him to just voluntarily bring this up, he had to have known that it was going to make news. And I just question whether or not the Raiders are just trying to put a smokescreen out. They're trying to drive up the value of Ashton Jeanty. Maybe a team like the Chicago Bears might try to move up for him, or the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe that could be the case. Like I said, I would not mind if we selected him, but just based on the recent news, I don't think we're going to select Jeanty at 6. And honestly, I would not be shocked if the Raiders went defense in the first round. And honestly, I would not be shocked if we went cornerback. I would not be shocked if we select star cornerback out of Michigan, Will Johnson. And also too, the Raiders recently held private workouts with Will Johnson and also cornerback Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame. So with us getting rid of Jack Jones, I would not be shocked if we address cornerback early on in the draft. Now, one thing also take into consideration is maybe we could address it in free agency. There is still a good option out there in Asante Samuel Jr., previously with the LA Chargers. And what really is intriguing about Asante Samuel Jr. is just the fact that he's still very young. So this is a guy that still has a lot of upside. You very well can maybe get him to like a short-term deal, maybe like a prove-it deal type of contract. That's kind of been the theme of what we've been doing in free agency this offseason with John Spytek. So maybe that's what the Raiders could do. In 2024, he had 13 tackles, 2 pass breakups, but he only played in 4 games due to a shoulder injury. And just like I said, he's got youth and upside that makes him very interesting as a prospect. So maybe this is a player we could target, but at the same time, maybe they're just not really interested in him. Because the thing is, the Raiders, I mean, we have a lot of cap space still. It's not like we're low on cap space, so we had to make a move like this by freeing up Jack Jones and getting about $3.4 million in cap space to make a move. We haven't been big spenders in free agency, so it's not like the cap has been an issue for us to sign players. So for us to not sign him yet, maybe they're just not interested in him. But with us getting rid of Jack Jones, I definitely see a strong possibility of the Raiders potentially drafting a quarterback early on in the draft. Not gonna lie, I really like the idea of drafting Will Johnson. I understand the injuries could be a little bit of a concern. He was unable to perform at his pro day due to a hamstring injury, so we don't have like a 40-yard dash time on him yet. And I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think he is recovering and he's pretty close to being fully healthy at this point. And don't quote me on this, but I think relatively soon he may hold a private workout where he's gonna run the 40-yard dash, and maybe we could get some info on that. But when you look at a guy like Will Johnson, a really good cornerback prospect overall, and the thing I like about him is he really has the potential to be one of the best cornerbacks in the league. You see a lot of people comparing him to the next Patrick Surtain, and I definitely see where they're coming from. A really good cornerback, great in man coverage, really smart football player, and has great ball skills, can make plays and get turnovers. But ultimately, we'll just see what happens come draft night. Crazy enough, the draft is right around the corner, about 3 weeks away. But I definitely want to get your guys' feedback in the comment section down below. What do you think about this news? Do you think the Raiders are going to address the cornerback position early on in this year in the draft? Let me know in the comment section down below. But with that being said, Raider Nation, anybody that is new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.